Only two buildings in downtown Chicago where you can go to the top and overlook our city. One of them is the Hancock. You'll find the Signature Room. I'm going to test you Chicagoans because we're going to see something in a moment. Ahead left, you're going to see a flotilla of boats hanging out. We'll see that in a minute. Lake Michigan is right here. This is Lakeshore Drive. Formal name more today. Again, the DuSable Lakeshore Drive, honoring our first settler. But if you ask the Chicagoan, how do I get to LSD? They'll send you here. There is only one way to proceed from the Chicago River we're on, and you want to get to the lakefront, you're going to have to enter and pass through the Chicago Harbor Lock. As I look forward, the river is very unusual. Chicago River flows from the river here away from Lake Michigan. That's not how usually rivers flow. In fact, this one originally flowed from the North Branch south and then would all turn and enter Lake Michigan. No longer. The river flows from the lake to the river. On the way back, if you're interested, I'll tell you why. Between lake and river. Now the lake is very deep, it's a little confusing, but right here it's 4 feet higher than the river. Here's what will happen pretty quick. The pier, and notice the green dome with the towers? That's an original section. The Grand Ballroom of Navy Pier. The Grand Ballroom, well, we get a tragedy every day. Oh, look forward. That's all Chicago. Look at that beautiful four-masted schooner, the Windy. That's a... Hey, this is a little inside baseball. All of the museums there, the original money to build them came from retailers here in Chicago. For example, the Atlas Planetarium, more than way, and alerts voters to what you see is the opening in the breakwater in the mouth of the river, the Harbor Library. sections appear. If you're looking left, a hotel. You see the three structures? That is the Sable Hotel, and it's opened in March. I think Hilton is the only one of the five whose entire boundary actually falls within the United States. Most of you are aware. Hey, listen, if you were here and you're fishing with a private vessel, you wouldn't pay. In fact, if you're the only one here, they'll open the in 1930, that building there, see it? That was the Medina Athletic Club in men only. We're allowed in that building in 1930. You know, I'm pretty surprised. This is an intelligent looking gentleman here. Are you with this guy? I don't believe it. You know what he said? He said those were the good old days. That's the guy, he said it. Shame. You know he didn't say it. I figured a good sport. But in 1930, the Shriners, the Medina, they opened the Medina Athletic Club and men only. Of course, not today. It's the Hotel Intercontinental. When you boarded earlier, you were standing in front of a landmark building. You know, you ran a boat 20 minutes ago, and it's a little dangerous. Okay, I think we'll see. You see the Wrigley Building ahead, Brian? It's 100th anniversary yesterday. The Wrigley Building is neoclassic in its style, very decorative. The Wrigley Building developed. Who's in there? Forget it. All right, the Wrigley Building, neoclassic. The Wrigley Chewing Gum Candy Company. You know it's best seen after dark? Since its first day. Each evening it is brightly lit with floodlighting, reflecting off the terracotta. Mixed office space, Wrigley's gone, new owners. A landmark, the Wrigley Building. Don't stand on the chairs or benches, right? You might not finish the tour. Second tallest building in Chicago, right here. The lead architect for Trump Tower is a Chicagoan. His name is Adrian Smith. Adrian Smith is the lead architect for the tallest building in the world. You know the name of that? The Burj Khalifa, known as the Burj Dubai. Excellent. How tall is it? Take a look at Trump. Picture in your mind another one on top of it. Then, we're talking the Burj Khalifa. Hotel Condominiums, 2009. Not an architectural tour, but I'm going to squeeze a few in. There's an architect that came to Chicago back in 1938 from Germany. The guy's name? Mies van der Rohe. He influenced a generation. The style he brought? Modernist. International. You see the steel box? See the windows and I-beams? You know, the 1950s, 60s, into the 70s, it's a dominant style of commercial architecture. Van der Rohe's motto, less is more. Today is the American Medical Association building, the AMA Plaza, and at its base, the Langham Hotel. I think you're going to miss it. High tea at 3. That's a little pricey, but it's cool. Langham. Forget about styles unique to Chicago. Coming up on the right, Selena Towers. These two 60-story concrete towers are pioneer buildings. Why? This is the first residential buildings ever built on the river. 1967. Architect Bertrand Goldberg in Chicago. If you live here, you do not drive your car up that circular parking lot. You hand your keys to the valet, he takes it to your unit. Marina City, as it's known, is also home to the House of Blues, right here on Dearborn to the right. Marina City. Ahead right, do we have any lawyers with us? Well, this next building on the right is the American Bar Association building. And new restaurants embracing the river, the Orange Umbrellas, Pizzeria Portofino. Pretty great reviews for them and seafood. Who knows, let us entertain you, that chain, that's them. They're all pretty well followed. You know, one time this river, it's a working river. What you would have seen here, lumber yards, grain elevators, and warehouses. Now one warehouse has survived. It's on your right. In 1914, this red brick building was a grocery warehouse. Today, office space, and of course restaurants embracing the river. River roast. Nice spot. It's a lot of nice places. Oh. This is yesterday. We're cruising the river, and there's a couple in front, and the young lady says, "We are celebrating our 2nd anniversary. We're from Rockford, Illinois. Sir, can you recommend to us a nice, inexpensive steakhouse?" No. Well, yeah, there's a ton of steakhouses, but that word inexpensive is not part of the deal. Chicago Cut. I don't think they're open on Sunday. I don't know that now. There's a ton of spots. Up ahead, we're going to pass the Merchandise Mart. The largest building in the world when it was completed in 1930. Look to your right. Let me tell you this. At 4 million square feet, 2 city blocks and 5 acres. It is second only, I believe, to the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. floor space. Hundreds of showrooms displaying furniture and apparel, an equal number of corporate offices. The landmark Art Deco Merchandise Mart. You see the heads, sculptures? Famous merchants from the 20th century. Anybody remember? Montgomery Ward, Marshall Fields, Edward Filene. There's 8 of them. Do you know any of them? Then I could just say 8 names and you wouldn't know, right? I don't know if I remember all 8. Okay, here's the junction I've been speaking of. The main branch of the river ends. North branch right, south left. Were they built in Chicago recently? Good God, look to your right. This is a parking lot 5 summers ago. The East Tower, the glass building, brand new, residential, 60-story Salesforce Tower on the way up. Commercial. New office buildings to the right, River Point and the spectacular 150 North Riverside, the Tuning Fork building. I wish I had a half hour to tell you about that. Talk about modern architecture, that's amazing. Amazing. And here the river walk. Remember I told you the idea for the river walk? You'll socialize? Hey, you take a dip in the lake, you know. Water temperature surface here can reach 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I've heard a rumor. We become a city here in 1837. You know when the Great Wall was first built? The 1860s. Now, one more. When you look at our lakefront, we are a spring apart